1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
It's the same mic you're testing.
Hello. Hello.
All right, guys, welcome to the Paolo's podcast. Before we get into this, why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
My name is Oisin, which is a problem over here, but it's an Irish name basically. And my name is Oisin, yeah. So that's it.
I'm Robbie. We're Amble, obviously.
And I'm Ross. My name's Ross.
Well, welcome to Toronto.
It's great to be here. Thanks.
Have you guys been here before?
Never, no. I haven't.
First time.
I have. I've been in Toronto.
He was like
once.
talking about the underground, like the path, and how like
I think it blew my mind. Like you have like a world underground for the snow. But yeah, I was here for like a week, like a holiday.
It's one of the coolest parts about the city. It's literally an underground city. You guys, if you're only here for a little bit, but go check it out.
Yeah.
You have a tour guide
Yeah,
too.
like it's like a supermarket underground.
Yeah.
Like what is going on?
Hair salons, drugstores, everything.
Everything.
restaurants.
Yeah,
Restaurants.
It's really cool. I loved it. Yeah, that was my favorite part of the city was the underground.
No, there's other good parts.
No,
of the
there
city
was.
other
Just
than
blew
the
my
underground.
mind that this existed. I was like, we need this in Ireland. Saves us from getting in the rain. Like,
Yeah, because it does rain a lot over there.
Rains a lot.
So you guys were just recently in LA for a couple weeks. What were you guys doing down there?
Well, we supported Crowded House all along the West Coast, so we flew into Seattle and we did 5 shows with them. So it was like Seattle and Bend, Oregon, Paso Robles. What was the other one?
Saratoga. Yeah, it was gorgeous.
It was beautiful. And then we finished in LA, and then we had our own gig in LA in the Hotel Cafe, which was really good. And then we just chilled out there. We had a break in the schedule, and we chilled out in LA for about 10 days. So it was really cool. We went to recording studios and stuff like that, and met up with some really cool people. So it was
Not a bad place to hang out. For
no, it was cool. Yeah, we were right on Venice Beach, so it was lovely.
Was this your first time performing in like North America?
It's our first time in America ever as a band. Yeah,
Ever as a band?
We've barely done Ireland, and now we're in America. So yeah,
Because you guys are fairly new. You guys had like not
Yeah.
only how you guys just kind of got together in what 2022,
23.
23.
Yeah.
You guys had just met.
Yeah. We met and then we became a band.
Like how did
immediately.
that go about? How did that happen?
Do you want to go for it?
He usually tells. Full of enthusiasm.
He's got a beer in hand. He's ready to go.
Yeah. No, I always wanted to play music, to be honest, but I never really had anyone to play with, and I wasn't confident enough to do it on my own, because I'd never had sang in a pub or never busked or anything like that. Oisin had been doing plenty of that in Galway. I lived in Dublin, sorry, I should have said I was a primary school teacher, and Oisin had been living in Galway doing all these things, and Oisin moved to Dublin, and I just reached out to him and asked him would he like to start doing that, basically, and we did for a little bit, and then he reached out to Ross the same way I reached out to him. We didn't know each other, but it was just through music, and then Ross came and we played a little gig together in my hometown in Leitrim, and the next day Ross messaged us and said, boys, we need to get a name, we need to do ticketed shows, forget about playing in pubs. He said we're going to do this right, music on Spotify, all that crack, and me and Oisin were just like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And that was
It's just like a full circle, like just like overnight.
Yeah, that was it. And then that was only January 2023, and now we're here in September 24 in Toronto with sold out shows, so it's great.
That's a quick turnaround.
It's gotta be like a dream come true as well. Like, you know, playing on the other side of the world. It's one thing to sell out in your hometown, your home country,
Yeah.
but then when you come to a completely different part of the world, like we're at least 9-hour flight, give or take.
Yeah, no, it is. And like, I think for all of us as well, we all worked normal jobs. Like I was a primary school teacher, elementary school teacher for 4 years. Ross was teaching for 8 years, and Oisin worked in data science. So like the fact that we know what it's like.
So what was that moment where you're like, I'm quitting my job?
It was nuts.
Yeah,
It was class.
it was
Best
good.
day of my life.
I think I found myself becoming a hypocrite as a teacher, because I used to like be telling students like you
Stay in school.
should go do what you want to do and go pursue it. And then here was me like at the weekend playing in a band and like not really giving it its all. And there was actually one day where I was teaching and I had 24 students in front of me. I was secondary school, sorry, so they're like 12 to 18 year olds, and I had 24 students in front of me, and I told them to be quiet, and I put work on the board, and then I went on a radio interview at the top of the room, like as their teacher, like talking about Amble, and I was just like, I think I gotta, we gotta go for it and take the leap, and the three of us all done it kind of at the one time, and we just said let's give it a go.
Actually, just because we all quit our jobs and then did a tour very similar to this size. So the kind of rooms we're doing now in Toronto, Chicago, LA was Ireland back then. So to be doing this kind of size venues.
That was 6 months ago. Like.
6 months ago we were doing this kind of size shows in Ireland, and when we're going to go home in 2 weeks, and it's all like 2,000 people. You know, it's nuts. Yeah.
What'd your parents say when you guys were like, okay, wait, we've known these guys for, like, you go back to your parents, okay, I've known these guys for a year.
Yeah.
We're gonna quit our jobs as teachers, data scientists.
Yeah, but at that point, like, not even almost a year. Like, it's just like you're just hitting that mark.
What's mom and dad say?
It's funny that you mentioned that, because when I text my dad on the Sunday night, I was going to go into the principal the next day and tell him I was leaving, and my dad texted me back, throw out the trout to catch the salmon, which is basically his very philosophical way of saying I should go for it, probably had a few pints in him or something, but he said I should go for it. That's his way of saying it. So I sent it on to the two lads, and they were like, we should put that on a t-shirt, so all our merch has that saying on it. So that's what my dad said.
So what's the saying? Try and catch the salmon?
Throw out the trout to catch the salmon. It's like, or throw the trout out to catch the salmon. It's like, small risk and hopefully a big reward. So, and my mum was mad for it. Like, they've always wanted me to do something like this, and I never did it, even though I love teaching and it was great for a couple of years, but I've always kind of wanted to do this, and now that it's happening is just incredible. Like, yeah.
I feel like I need to say, because Robbie can't say it, but when I met him in Dublin, he had never sang on stage, never sang into a microphone, and we were singing songs that he had written and I had written, and as soon as I heard him singing, I was like, what is going on here? Like, money bags going across the sea. Yeah. Need to stop saying that.
Thanks, buddy.
But no, I just thought if we even half tried to do something with this, it'll go well. I never thought I would be here in Toronto talking to yourselves, but I guess it's amazing what can happen in that sense.
I want to switch over a little bit. Obviously, we people watching online, people at your show see the highs of touring and friendship and music. What are some of the lows that you guys face, like obviously as friends, as business partners, as touring partners, as bandmates? What are the lows? Because nobody talks about the lows until we hear about the breakups and the fights and everything later. But
not to be cliche, but there's not too many lows.
That's good. It's cliche though.
It is cliche. but to say the first thing I missed when I stopped teaching was eating porridge in the morning at 8 o'clock. I used to, and then
you can still do that.
No, I know. No.
Like
People always said that to me when I say them. They say you can still do it, but I don't because I'm completely out of a routine. So the difference between our 9 to 5 jobs that we had as teachers and in data science was there was like a start and finish to your day, whereas this type of job, even though we
you can sleep until 10 or you wake up at 6.
It's all over the place. It's all over, and that can sometimes definitely be a low because you're going to bed and then the next thing there's WhatsApp's going off and you got to do this and put up.
Or you're sleeping in hotels and you're on the road, packing the van, getting up, the tour is not easy. People think that you're playing a sold out show in Toronto and like this all the lights, it's the excitement, but they don't realize that half the time you're eating fast food, you're not on a proper diet, you're not sleeping well because you haven't been in your own bed in months, right?
I think once a week you should take your morning for your porridge.
Oh no, I am.
And incorporate that in because you could have that easily.
I need to bring it back.
Just bring it back at least once a week.
Yeah. Well, like even as you said, Derek, the long drives and stuff like that. They're definitely.
It is. I think this is our first time doing it, but it definitely is a bit of a culture shock leaving your family and loved ones behind. And it's not just us. Like there's 3 of us here, but Mike is with us and he's our tour manager and sound engineer, and Adam, and they're leaving their wives and girlfriends and everything behind, and it's like everyone's in the same boat, so that does make it a little bit easier. But I think it is like it's our first experience doing it. We're only gone a month, it's not too bad, but it's something we'll have to get better at and get used to. But again, sitting in traffic on a Monday morning going in to teach kids, like I'd take this all day, no problem.
I suppose what's sprung to mind when you asked was actually I don't know if you'd call it a low, but it's basically it can be stressful in terms of we announced the US tour and Canadian tour, we didn't even have a visa, and then people are texting me being like, just book my flights to LA, cannot wait to see you, and I'm like, fuck. Sorry, I'm like, I don't even have a visa. It's like people are almost dependent on you, like they're dependent on you for a good time as well. People are going to come here tonight, they all want to have a fantastic time, or it's like, so I think that might be a funny answer to that, but sometimes it can be like, it's not a low, but it's like there's pressure for everyone wants to have a great night, or else it's like, what was the point of doing that? Now, in saying that, we genuinely always love the gigs. The gigs are just good crack, like good fun every time. But there's still that, like, we're going to go home, you want to play to 2,000 people, you just want them to have a good time. So that's...
Do you?
I was going to say, one of the hardest parts, too, is that for you, this is your job. You come to work every day, and you do your best to make everybody happy. But sometimes there might be days where you're having a bad day at work. Yeah. You know, when I have a bad day at work, nobody's yelling at me, screaming at me, getting mad at me, because they're not, you know, they didn't spend their hard-earned dollars to come see me at work. We're all here. But people come, they spend their hard-earned dollars to come see you, and sometimes, you know, you might have an off night, or your throat's a little scratchy, or, you know, you're not feeling the best. And for them, it's like they don't care. They're there because they want to hear your music at the best possible version. So it can be tough. Like, we've had so many musicians on the podcast that say, like, some days it is tough to get out there. Yeah. And you've been on the road for 2 months, and it's tough, but you do your best every single night just to give the people that came the most of you, right?
Well, that's actually going along on the media right now, because Chapel Roan and a bunch of different artists canceled their tour, canceled a show at a festival. So people paid all this money to go to the festival, but she was like mentally not feeling it. So she took a step back. And that's like a hard decision for artists to have to do. And it's becoming, I guess, maybe a bit more normalized, but people are paying their money to come see you, and that's your job.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's like it's a kind of great topic to bring up, and I don't know the answer. Obviously, it's such a tricky one. You've paid $150 or something, you want to see all the acts, but I mean, if that person has to like sacrifice their own, you know, mental health just to pay a gig, it's like, it's a tough one. I don't even know the answer, but
yeah.
I think, as you say, it's becoming a lot more acceptable to be like, I physically can't do this.
Well, because I think people's mental health is becoming a bit more of a topic across North America. But again, at the same time, I don't know. If I was going to like a show and it was my favorite artist and they weren't coming, I don't know how I'd feel.
I'd be pissed off.
I'd be disappointed. I went to a couple weeks ago. I was supposed to go to a concert and it got rained out. It had nothing to do with the artist, but I was pissed.
Danny,
can't control it.
Next time you call a sick day, I'm going to yell at you and scream at you and be pissed off at you. I'm going to tweet at you. Next time you're not feeling good at work, I'm going to just get mad at you.
I get it, though. I'm trying to say, I understand. It's just hard to, like, as an artist, too. Like, how do you make that decision? Like, we actually are going to give you the worst show, but you paid. What do you do?
There was a podcast thing in Dublin on Grafton Street, and they just randomly stopped people and asked them what did they do for their mental health. And Ross was walking one day, and he happened to get stopped. And what was your answer?
My answer was
I eat porridge.
No, it was pretty much, it was to go for a midday run. Was it have a cup of tea or something and have a pint or something? It was something crazy. And then I watched the podcast back, and like everyone was on about, like, you know, what do you do for like it was yoga and meditate. And then here's me going, have a pint and a cup of tea, like. That's how I look after my mental health.
Get the question, like,
no, it didn't.
But that is Ross. That's true.
Yeah, that's my mental health. Is, you know, if I get
it's different for everyone.
If I get a cup of tea into me, I'll play the gig.
I overheard you, Robbie, the other day saying that our photographer, we were going around on like a tour bus. I could overhear Robbie being like, sometimes I just need a few pints. Like, I just need it for my head. So we're terrible advocates, really. Yeah.
Okay, do you have any?
There's nothing wrong with that either.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Do you guys have any pre-show rituals or post-show?
Not really. We usually do have a couple of pints before the gig and then just enjoy ourselves. And if we're allowed to stay in the town we're gigging in, we'll usually go out and try and chat people and enjoy the moment. But nothing really. No, after the sound check, we try and eat early. Well, I do, because I don't like singing straight after I eat. But no, we don't really have any rituals. Just a couple of pints and a bit of crack and enjoy it. Yeah.
Love it. When I love asking artists this question. When was the moment? What was your aha moment where you knew you had something? Where you're like, hey, this is gonna work. And maybe it was the first time you heard him saying, I don't know, but what was that light bulb?
I think more recently it was, for me, definitely, I'd say for all of us, Electric Picnic. It's a festival in Dublin, in Stradbally in Laois. But it's the biggest festival in Ireland, and we got a really good slot. We were on the Saturday on the second biggest stage, which can hold, like, it's a tent, but it can hold about 13,000 people. And it was completely full, and everyone there was singing our tunes. And up until that, the biggest room we had played was probably like 900. So to see 13,000 people up on each other's shoulders and singing the words you wrote back to you, you know, a couple of years ago, and to hear it live, that was a real moment where we were all just like, holy fuck, this is happening. Like,
and I think it was the moment that this is all such good fun and a good crack, and we might do it for a while to, like, this could be our lives. Yeah. That's what I was thinking after. You know.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the same moment, and Yeah, I think as well, we didn't want to say it out loud, but we were kind of thinking it in our head that this was going, the right way, and then Electric Picnic came and it just kind of reaffirmed everything we had in the back of our head that we didn't want to say. And the crowd was there was 12,000, 13,000 people in a tent singing your songs, and you're just like, it was so special. Yeah,
more direct to your question, because it's like, when was the moment? Like, that was a year in, but genuinely, it's again almost cliche, but the first time me and Robbie were singing our own songs together, I was like, this can be as good as anyone, you know what I mean? That was from the get-go. I don't think we would have done it otherwise.
Mine was the get-go as well. As soon as I played that gig with the two of them, like, I did send a message the next day going, we need to make a band, because that night I didn't sleep really. I was just like, because I was playing music for years, and it felt like that one night was better than any of the years I've had, and I was just like, we got to do it. Like,
he was worried about the porridge the next morning, whether you get it. Couldn't sleep.
Couldn't sleep.
Will I get my porridge?
What's actually, Danny, I'll let you ask this question.
Such a numpty.
What? Oh, I was gonna say, what's your dream venue that you'd want to play at?
Mine's Carnegie Hall.
Go
Very,
ahead.
very proud of that.
I'd love to play Carnegie Hall.
I would.
That'd be just. There's so many, like Red Rocks. Sorry, like
Red Rocks is our favorite venue.
Let's go big, but if I play Carnegie Hall, I'll be very happy. I'm very happy anyway.
Yeah, I think more close to home, the Three Arena in Ireland as well is like, it's a really big indoor venue, about 13,000 again. And if you're playing in Three Arena in Ireland, like, it means you've made it pretty much. So I think if we get to that stage, it'd be insane. Yeah, I'd love that. And then over here to be Red Rocks, definitely.
Yeah, I think in the US, it's Red Rocks, Ross Slowmancer, and at home it's a little venue called Croke Park. You might not know it, but it's a big room in Dublin. But I think we'll do it someday.
The acoustics are really good.
I think we'll do Croke Park someday. Yeah. So we'll have this as a timestamp.
Have you played Croke Park before?
I love hearing people's different, like, from when they're from different parts of the world, because we've had people from like London before, different parts in England, and like they want to play this tiny place in their hometown. Where we had someone from not LA, San Diego. And they said their like dream venue was this one venue that they first played at a couple of years ago. Yeah. And like, it's nice to hear kind of like the different perspectives.
I think it's so funny. We were just talking about it because the goalposts keep moving. Because if you would have asked that question, 6 months ago or a year ago, I would have said the Olympia Theatre in Dublin, which is where we have now 3 shows there in November. And we're like, that was, for me, that was the aim.
That's easy now.
Well, it's not easy. You never take it for granted, but to be playing 3 of them is just like such a pinch me moment. And I know them nights are going to be so special. And then me saying Carnegie Hall, I would have never said that a year ago. But now it's like, maybe you can play.
It's exactly what you said. Moving the goalpost is tough because, a year ago you probably said it would be so cool to play, across the pond. Yeah. Now you're playing a dozen shows or whatever, right? Like, you would have been like, hey, it would have been so cool to visit a new country, see a new city. Now it's like, you've done this bunch now, right?
It's also listening to people like in North America kind of singing back your songs to you, not just in the UK. Yeah. Like, that's just insane.
There's also a lot of Americans that have travelled to see the shows, because I suppose when we put them on sale and they all sold out, we kind of just presume that they're Irish living over here. Sorry, but they're Irish living over here. And which is like obviously the dream, but to see Americans who have found your music, organically through social media or Instagram or whatever, and driving, like we had a girl last night who drove from Missouri, was it? Yeah. And we were playing in Chicago, so
no, he grabbed the mic because he was gonna, and then he looks at me, hands back to the story he was gonna tell you.
Just doing this behind him.
We had a girl who drove 5 hours to come and see us, like, which is just crazy. Like in a place like Chicago, it's just. She's from Missouri. Yeah, she's from Missouri, and she drove 5 hours. Mary's Pub's my favorite song.
I just love you guys. You guys are incredible.
She was lovely.
Such like a pinch me moment too, right?
Yeah.
I want to switch a little bit off music now. My best friend growing up is Irish.
Cool.
And he took me to watch a Gaelic football game once. Yeah. And I thought that was one of the most insane things ever. Because it's kind of like soccer meets football, but not rugby. But it's like, it is kind of like rugby, but not rugby. Have you guys ever played that growing up?
I'm gonna speak on behalf of these two, because both these men played at the highest level of Gaelic football in Ireland. They both played for their county, so Leitrim and Longford. So they definitely know Gaelic football.
He's like, they'll be too humble to admit it.
I saw him play. He was absolutely shy. He can barely solo the ball.
You know what we need? We need like those highlight reels right now. It's just like your
Oh, yeah,
highlight reel,
fully.
his highlight reel.
His would be a short one.
He just said something really nice. It's like,
No.
no, we're gonna shit on him.
I played Gaelic last summer. Like, so this time last year I was playing for my local club at home. Actually messed up my wrist. I only had surgery on it recently, but it's very physical, great sport. It's real. It's a culture more so in Ireland. Like, you know, it's the whole village is out to watch you play, and they know when you're playing, and you meet someone in the shop and they're talking about the game at the weekend. It's almost like a religion, like it is, but it's a brilliant sport. I miss playing it, but you know,
You got bigger priorities.
Yeah,
I think even though at home, like we would say, people in my parish would know me as a footballer more than a musician, and even still, when I come home, it'd be like, "Oh, the music's great, but will you play football?"
What parish is that?
Dramard. But they would, you know, I think it's just like it's so ingrained in Irish culture that I'll always be the footballer. He's only taking he's taking the make out of me here.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'd be the same as well. If people at home wouldn't even hardly know I play music, it's more football.
Well, they know he plays music.
They know I
but-
play music now, but even like still, they'd more see me maybe as a footballer, maybe.
Yeah.
Is it like a
So yeah, I was just gonna say, so in Canada, hockey is obviously
Yeah.
our thing, but it's nowhere near what Gaelic football is to the Irish.
No.
But in America, in the States, college football
Yeah.
is like Gaelic football.
Yeah.
College football in a small town, or even high school football in a small town, is life.
Yeah.
Like in certain towns in the States, they shut down the stores on a Friday night at 7:00 because that's what time the high school football team plays.
Yeah.
College football, there are some college football arenas that hold, or stadiums that hold 100,000 people, and the whole city is only a couple 100,000. You know,
But
like Michigan, for
It
example.
is worth saying as well that Gaelic is completely amateur. Like, so you
Yeah.
know, all these players
Have
at
day
the
jobs.
highest level, they've day jobs, and then they go out at the weekend. If you get to an All Ireland final, there's 80,000 people in the stadium, and these men just have to, and women, Crow Park. These men and women then have to go back to their normal day jobs, you know, whatever they're doing, and they still have to train as hard as professionals. So it's really, I think it kind of adds to it as well, the fact that it is amateur. It's more relatable, and I think everyone would fear people that get too big for their boots kind of thing in Ireland. If it was professional, it'd just be like, oh Jesus, look at your man driving the Mercedes. you know.
So wait, what did, let's say you finished a game on the weekend and you got to go to your class Monday morning, you got
Yeah.
the students, and you're all bruised up because it's arguably the most aggressive sport out there. You're all beat up, and the kids are just like, "Oh, hey, what are we learning today?" And you're just like, "I can't do
it was
this."
much easier going after playing football than it was after playing a gig, because
Really?
oh yeah, you'd be dying. You'd be absolutely dying, just like, get me through this day. But no, that's kind of the reason why we left the jobs as well. It wasn't, I was gigging a couple of nights a week and then going in trying to teach, and it was just, mentally and physically it was really, really tough.
Awesome.
It's fine playing football and going in teaching, I think, unless you're on crutches or something, then it's difficult. But no.
You guys are a different breed.
Have you been to Ireland?
No, I've never been.
I've never been
Best
either.
friends from Ireland, you never been there?
So my best friend is, so he's born in Canada, but his mom and dad are both born in, one's just outside of Dublin, the other one's just outside
Meath?
of,
Loud.
I'm going blank right now. He's got a Seamus Morrison, so it's Irish as it
Oh,
gets.
cool.
The mother's an O'Keefe, the father's
Broken
Morrison.
Strings.
And I
Seamus
can't remember
Morrison.
where they're from. But I was going to go in November. Flights from Canada are really cheap right now.
Oh,
Okay.
I guess because November's a bad time to visit because of the rain.
Yeah.
And
You can
You
come
guys
to one of our
playing in
gigs.
November?
Yeah.
When?
the Olympia,
when?
Big shows in Dublin.
28th. 28th, 23rd, 28th.
All right, well, maybe we have to make a trip across the
Are
pond.
those flights that you found?
No,
I've also-
flights are basically all November.
So you haven't booked them yet?
I've never,
No.
Cool.
I've never had a Guinness.
Oh,
Never.
Is the
No.
Guinness Challenge a thing in Ireland or no?
What's the
split
Guinness
the
challenge?
G, is it like that?
Yeah, it's with
Yeah.
the G and the harp.
Yeah, people just try and subconsciously do that anyways. Like when you're drinking in Ireland, you just, even if you're out, like me and my dad were out having a pint, you would kind of just try and do it without trying to do it, if you get what I mean. It's kind of like
Yeah.
you're supposed to drink it in 3 or 4 gulps, the whole thing. So if you get to the G, it means you've made a good start.
Yeah.
So how does American and Canadian beer compare to Irish beer and Guinness? Like obviously the it's very different, but how do you compare it?
I don't know. I'm not even sure what the Canadian beers are. Well,
So this is Coors is a
Coors is Canadian. Okay, yeah.
one yesterday. I bought a T-shirt in Chicago, old style.
Yeah, that was. I think that was
Actually
Chicago.
didn't
Was
buy
it?
it, but
No, it's been all cans and bottles here, which is very different.
yeah, it's
In
all
Ireland,
lager
it's all
and
from the top.
IPAs. Yeah.
It's all from the top at home. It's like almost a cultural thing as well. I would never be drinking this at home, But no, never. There's no
Can't-
bottles, no
Can't
cans.
drink those IPAs at all. I find
Yeah.
them give me a headache, and
Yeah.
you get steamed very easily on them.
Like it's such a stereotype, but I would be drinking Guinness from a tap all the time at home.
Yeah.
Almost
Yeah.
90% of the time.
and you know
just
what
Guinness.
it does to you too. Like, you know, and you know.
What does it do to you?
Oh. How much time do we have? But you know, it's just like, I don't really like lager, but I'll drink it over here. But no, it's great. It's good. Drink anything.
As we said, we kind of became a band before we became friends, and how we became friends was drinking. It was like the music, the gigs every night, but we were just getting pretty on it for most of the gigs because we didn't even know we didn't even know a single thing about each other.
Yeah.
And you're going up on stage, there's hundreds of people looking at you. So
But I think that kind of sped up the relationships. The fact that we were just constantly having these nights out together was like telling each other stuff that you just wouldn't tell each other having a mug of tea.
Well, because
you know.
playing with each other's got to be fairly personal too,
Yeah.
right? It's not like you're just gonna play with strangers the rest of your lives. It's like, hey, like the more you guys know each other, the more you feel in tune and in sync, the better your shows are gonna be.
Well,
It's
thank
just
God
like-
you guys liked each other.
No,
Yeah,
fu-
no.
we wouldn't.
Because that could have gone two ways. You could have played an amazing show, but like not actually.
Yeah,
built a friendship.
we wouldn't be sitting here if we didn't like each other. Genuinely.
Even no, if it doesn't matter how good the music is, if you don't get on, it's
Yeah.
like it's a nightmare. Like, so it's, I think that's the main thing really. Like, the music comes secondarily. It's getting that bond, friendship. It's like being on stage and knowing that the two lads are the way they're interacting with each other and smiling, and you know, it's just like, I know we're all having a good time together, and it comes easy then.
We talked about family, but like, what did your friends say? Like, you have these like two new best friends in your life that you're
Yeah.
together with probably all the time. Like,
Funny one,
peace
actually.
out.
Funny one. When I first met Oisin, I tried to integrate him into my friend group, and I brought him to an AstroTurf, like football
Why don't you
five-a-side.
defend yourself.
Yeah, it's like a soccer five-a-side thing.
Can't.
And he is the most competitive man you'll ever meet. Like, he is behind. I know he seems very pleasant now, but
lovely. I'm
he's
so
a,
nice.
he's a fucking nut job behind it all. He would run through a wall like to. I brought him to five-a-side with my friends, and like the ball was rolling over the line. It was clearly a goal. There was no need for him to do this, and he tried to save it last minute, and he
Like a slide, yeah.
snapped my friend's ankle. Like with his
That
foot.
is the biggest exaggeration
not.
imaginable.
We had to go home. The AstroTurf finished because I literally went home with all the lads, and they were like, "What the fuck did you bring him for?" Like, they were like, "Who is that bug?" And I was like, "Sure,
I went
don't know."
home. I went home to my house where I was living in Dublin, and I was chatting to the people living there, and I was like, I just lost about 10 friends there. Genuine. I was like, I just got to Dublin, going playing soccer. Very, very innocent thing to do. I was like, I will never see them again.
You'd swear it was the World Cup final, the way
no, but
Oisin was running around.
It was like, I'm never going to see them again. Like, genuinely, yeah. And here I am.
That's so funny though. But those are the stories that make it too, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, now that you guys are friends, it's been time. It's nice to know that you've got these stories.
Yeah.
He would do the same thing in a different life.
I would.
He would do the same thing in a
It was
different
probably a bit different for Ross, because like myself and Oisin are 26, and all our friends are in that age group. And Ross is, what age are you again?
I'm 30. I'm
Ross
not that
is-
much older.
Hey, 30's not old. Don't worry.
30's
30's
not
not
old.
old.
age are you again?
It was really weird, like integrating ourselves into Ross and his friend group, because they were like talking about taxes and mortgages and building houses and babies and stuff. Me and Oisin were just like, you know. So no, it's
Yeah.
it's interesting, but
Kept me young, definitely.
That's so many. What's because we're gonna be near. I know we have a hard stop. What's one thing on this tour or this time away from home that's really stood out to you in a positive way?
yeah, everyone's.
As we said, there has been, I know almost surprising, like it's maybe more US people than, sorry, this is our first Canada show, sorry, apart from Vancouver. Basically, we thought it was going to be all Irish people at the shows, and it just hasn't been that way at all. We're meeting locals every night, and people from actually Toronto, people from Chicago, and for me that's been like such a pleasant surprise. And for us, like as a band, you kind of need that. If you're depending on just Irish people, it's not going to go that far. So the fact that the music's spreading to people from Toronto, like locals, is nuts. That's my.
I'm gonna say two things. Is that okay?
Of course.
First thing is very similar to what Oisin said, but I think crowd reactions in America and Canada, especially at the crowded house shows, like they were like capacities of 5,000, and no one there obviously knew Amble, but at the end of the show we were getting standing ovations and stuff because we were just chatting, and we were able to tell all the stories that we've kind of already told people at home and at our gigs, but we were able to tell them again. stories of how we met and the stories of how we wrote the songs, and it was a great way of just getting the crowd on our side. So I think the crowd reaction was one. And the other thing I'll say that has been lovely from this trip is the group that we have. I said it's just the three of us, but we have Adam Heffernan, our photographer, with us, and Mike McGrath on our sound. And we've been living together essentially for nearly a month, and it's like just been such good crack. And we have all spent a good bit of time together before this, but now it's like a different level. And the fact that that's gone so well, 8-hour drives, and just the crack is just constant. So it's I think that's another real positive from the trip.
Yeah, that's. I'm going to kind of reiterate what Robbie said. I think it was like the boys hate when I say this, but I keep saying things are like tests. Like, oh, that was a test, and we passed the test, and like your first like.
What curriculum are we on?
We're
right
on
now?
the can we get through a tour? But you're going away from home for a month, and it just. I'd go away from home with these boys for a year or 2 years. I think that's just what I took away from this last 3 weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, but I would. As much as I miss it at home, it's just like it's been so much fun with the crew as well. Like obviously, and then I also think I'm going to get really sentimental. No, I also think it's just what. No, I won't go to Hull.
Full duck or no dinner.
Full duck or no dinner. No, I just think it's like it's we kind of know that what's coming maybe for the next 6 months and for the next year, and it's hugely exciting. I'm coming away from this hugely excited for the next 6 months because of this. Like,
I think we just kind of have to say at this point that while we're looking forward to tonight so much, we're coming back in April, May to the US and Canada and everything. So I think people are pointing at us. Yeah, just cool. Yeah, so. That's just a nice kind of thing to end it on, is that we'll be back. I don't know if...
Yeah, no. That was good. I actually had one more question, but then I got caught up with your emotions, because it's true, though. Like, you appreciate the moment, but it's also so exciting knowing that you have such a fun road ahead of you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Guys, we won't keep you too much longer, but we really appreciate you guys coming on and being pals with us. Danny, did you have any last ones?
No, I think that's it. I think we need to get you guys back on when you're back in April and kind of see, like...
100%, yeah, we'd love to.
Already gone so far so quickly, and like I can just imagine what the next 6 months looks like for you.
Yeah. Wait till you meet us now in April, it'll be total bollocks.
we'll have fallen out like
shades on.
Are you guys staying the night in Toronto?
No, we're driving to Montreal.
Oh, Montreal's nice.
Montreal's
too.
fun.
Yeah.
Montreal's very
nice.
nice.
Gig there tomorrow night, so we have to keep going.
Yeah.
When I say we're driving, Ross is driving.
Ross is the designated driver.
I just drove to Montreal alone on the weekend. It's not that bad of a drive.
It's 6 hours, isn't it?
From Toronto, about 6 hours.
Yeah.
No, but if you drive late, you get no traffic.
No
Okay,
traffic.
yeah.
It'll be easy.
Okay,
It's dark, but it's fine.
Oh no, sorry, we are staying tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say you wouldn't drive
No,
tonight.
no, we are staying tonight because we're on TV tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's
We're
exciting.
on
Where?
CP24 or something.
We're on Good Morning Toronto tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do you know that? You guys know that?
CP24 or something.
CP24, breakfast television.
That's what we're on.
Yeah, we're on that tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So when you're watching this in 6 months' time, tune in.
Yes,
Tune in.
but we'll probably take it easy tonight if we're on TV. It's like we have to be there for 8 in the morning and then driving straight to Montreal after that. So yeah.
Hair and makeup.
Yeah.
But anyways, boys, appreciate you guys coming on. No,
Thanks
thank
so
you
much,
guys.
mate.
It's a blast. Good
Cheers.
luck on tonight. Good luck on the rest of the tour, and we'll see you guys soon.
Cool. Pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Cheers, guys.
Bye.